Before I get started, remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, be informed with hard hitting social democratic commentary. And today, this is going to be a combination of foreign policy, abroad, and domestic civil liberties. In particular, the First Amendment. Like many other states in this country, unfortunately, too many states, Georgia enacted a law which prohibits BDS, known as the Boycott, Disinvestment Sanctions against Israel. Several states across the country, actually just about half the states now, have enacted one form or another. Each state has different wordings and different levels of how much one can participate or not participate in BDS. And Georgia, as I said, was one of the many states across the country that has this law. Regardless of how you slice it or dice it, pretty much every state law that criminalizes BDS also criminalizes the First Amendment. Unfortunately, there are people from both parties that are involved with making this a national law for the last several years. This is the mother of cancel culture. Cancel culture. We could sit there all day and ha ha ha, look at this, potato head, Dr. Seuss, cancel culture. It's nothing. Potato head, so Dr. Seuss is nothing. It was a company decision. But to hear the right, a bunch of little purple hair, little Antifa fuckers came along and shook their finger and say, we want a gender neutral potato head, and you better get rid of all the supposed controversial racial language in the content of Dr. Seuss. No such a thing happened. These were company decisions. But you don't hear these people ever talk about the First Amendment in regard to BDS. And for me, to me, it takes guts to support the First Amendment. At least when the left are supporting censorship, which is an unfortunate position they have taken in the last several years, at least they're honest about it. But the right wing in this country that cries, we're persecuted. They're cancel culture. They're going to do the cancel culture on us. These fuckers practice cancel culture. And nobody calls them on it. And this BDS law is a perfect example. And all you leftists out there, my fellow lefties, who opposes the First Amendment and think it's okay to cancel culture unpleasant views, it ends up biting us in the ass. And this BDS laws around the country is makes us a casualty of it. I understand there's a lot of shit that the right wing says that's offensive. Whether it's the mediocre center-white Republican position or whatever, garden variety, conservative, or all the way up to damn alt-right territory, there's a whole lot of things that offends me. But you know what? As unpleasant as those views are, they need to be heard. Our views on the left needs to be heard too. And I really do believe that the left-wing arguments are strong enough on its own that we should not be afraid of the other side by silencing them. Because censorship against the people we don't like ends up biting us in the ass. And this BDS law is a perfect example. Abby Martin, she's a journalist for RT, Russia TV. I'm not sure she's still with them, but she had a program called Breaking the Set with RT years ago. She's the host of Empire Files, which you can see on YouTube and online. She's a socialist and she's an anti-war activist. And she talks about human rights abuses around the world, especially with this with the Bush-Cheney foreign policy doctrine that we're still living under. Yeah, I know. Obama, 8 years, 4 years of Trump, and almost 5 months of Biden, I guess if my math is correct. Same old BS, same old Bush-Cheney doctrine. Different faces, remember the song by The Who, where he says, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Well, we ain't going to get fooled again. Anyway, Georgia State University, there was supposed to be a speaking engagement with Abby Martin. And under state law, they had this anti-BDS nonsense going on. And they pressured Abby Martin to sign a pro-Israel loyalty oath. When she would not comply, the speaking engagement was denied. She was justified to file the lawsuit. And she did this through the Council of Islamic Relations and the Partnership for Civil Justice Fund. It was taken to one of the courts, federal courts, and Judge Mark Cohen ruled on behalf of the First Amendment. And this is a victory for Abby Martin. And basically he says that this Georgia law prohibits inherently expressive conduct protected by the First Amendment. Never truer words were spoken. And the thing about it is, he went on to show his support for BDS too. Icing on the cake against those, from the two parties, the neoconservatives, the evangelical Christians, and the right-wing media that favors this law. And a lot of them don't talk about it, but I know that, for example, Senator Ted Cruz is in favor of this law. Senator Tom Cotton is in favor of this law. And now to be a good enough reason to oppose this law. Where is Ben Shapiro when it comes to this cancel culture? Where's Steven Crowder? When he was alive, where was the late Rush Limbaugh? Where is Sean Hannity? Where is Mark Levin? Where's Glenn Beck? Oh, they're alpha. We favor the First Amendment. Except for the amendment that they don't, except for the speech they don't like. As I said, I do fault the left these days for turning their backs on the First Amendment. But for God's sake, at least they're honest. I am outraged more against the right wing who pretends to be for the First Amendment. But when it gets right down to it, they only favor the First Amendment of their own speech. And believe me, Donald Trump and a right-wing Republican majority in Congress, if that were to happen, you better bet your beetle boots there would have been a lot of free speech disappearing. Remember, Donald Trump wanted to harmonize the anti-libel laws in the UK with here in America, where public officials can sue a nobody that speaks negatively about them. I'm glad that the First Amendment won in this case, and I hope that each of these state laws get voted down and destroyed in the court, and I hope that the federal law legislation never takes place. I'm sorry, I burped. We need to protect that First Amendment. And my fellow leftists, whether you realize it or not, the First Amendment is our friend. And Abby Martin's freedom of speech being protected today proved that it is. Remember that. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. And once again, feel free to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace. Class struggle yesterday, class struggle today, class struggle tomorrow, and class struggle until we achieve full economic and social justice for all. And the First Amendment will be our friend to get us there. Trust me.